Hello and welcome to the Healthy Hearts and Guillotines podcast. I'm Zakim and with me is Jesse.
Good morning, Zakim. How are you doing today?
I'm doing quite well ever since I went off my social media and went for a sprint.
Yeah, social media, ironic that you should bring that up because that's today's topic. We've actually discussed social media in the past a little bit, but the particular social media plague that we are going to talk about today is fake activism.
Yeah, pseudo-activism. The one you believe you're doing something, but technically they're just reeling you back into the social media.
Yeah, dopamine drip activism.
To remind people, dopamine isn't positive or negative, it's just dopamine. It doesn't matter where you get it from. You can get it from a good source or a bad source. You can get dopamine from a funny cat video or a video of name crisis happening right now somewhere else in the world.
Yeah, your nervous system doesn't care what you get, where you get the dopamine by itself, but all the things that go with that dopamine can be pretty negative. My particular vice is Reddit.
Sin. You have sinned against us.
We know how evil that can be. And I think yours is Facebook and Instagram, since that's what they use over here in our delightful country.
Delightful country of Lithuania. We may thank the rain gods for going away for a bit.
Oh, it is so lovely out. It is shiny and blue skies and a few little stray clouds. It's delightful.
See? This is your answer. Stop social media and go outside. That's it. Thank you for the podcast, Jesse.
Yeah, that's it. That's all we needed to do. We're out of here. In a country where it rains so much and you can find yourself suspended on the couch by the weather gods, it can occasionally be tempting to get wrapped up in the eternal doom scroll of insert your favorite social media here. And more than a few people, myself included at different points in my life, can convince themselves that they are making changes in the world by sharing posts on Instagram or Reddit or Discord or that Elon Musk's hell site.
It doesn't really matter where you share it because there's a very core central issue of who you're sharing it with. Anyone who's looking at such posts is rarely or almost never someone actually doing anything about it.
That is the truth. And also there's the simple fact is that I love this quote. If voting accomplished anything, the wealthy would have banned it. Well, we know voting accomplished a number of things in recent years. And we know the wealthy, in the United States at least, are trying to ban it. Social media, on the other hand, the wealthy love social media. They adore it.
They adore it. If they can make you think that you're doing something by sharing the post, they'll let you share it because they know it doesn't do anything.
And what we have globally is this thing called terms of service, TOS. And what the TOS does is let whoever runs the platform dictate what conversations are allowed to happen on the platform and using the services. So this is where the YouTube, this is a pet peeve of mine. People on YouTube using the term unaliving.
Because you cannot say that other word.
You can't say that other word or they'll ban you.
And of course, banning is, I suppose, a little better than silent banning you and just making your post never appear anywhere.
Well, it gets me, that's the thing. You say it. They have not really gone about banning people in the sense of simply removing them anymore because that creates a kind of backlash and drama. They just silence them. And if you use one of the verboten words, then your content simply doesn't show for other people, even the people who are subscribed to you. and you fade into irrelevance because you are forced to use these enormous platforms. These platforms are the tubes through which the internet flows.
I mean, you say it in a funny way, but it's very sadly and depressingly true. If you start a business and you're not on any social media that's, large, then do you exist?
You don't exist, honestly. And what's so obnoxious about that is that I have been starting my own business here in Lithuania. In the United States, I still blame Twitter and Facebook for the rise of far-right politicians in the United States because they're the ones who freaking did it.
It's their platform. They can do whatever they want with it.
But
there's some issues with that.
there really are, particularly when it's a global platform. Here in Lithuania, Facebook is really just a way people communicate with each other and prop up their businesses, and sort of the initial promise of Facebook versus the completely evil, multi-headed Hydra demon it became in the United States. Because Mark Zuckerberg doesn't care about Lithuania. Thankfully. Sometimes it's nice to be ignored.
Right, so about that pseudo-activism.
So the pseudo-activism versus activism. The way you can tell the difference between pseudo-activism and activism is someone proposing a solution, or is someone raising awareness? And if you're just raising awareness, that's pseudo-activism.
That is entirely ineffective. If I went through my city with a sign saying there is some issue, that could raise awareness. By a miracle, maybe a politician would see it and be like, I should probably look into that. But that is a miracle. You're waiting for a miracle.
Yeah.
The one thing that actually can be done from your couch is signing petitions and writing emails to your government officials. That is a bit more likely to help than sharing a post.
Those things can also be part of greater activism. Sharing posts from social media, for the most part, you're just becoming part of someone else's dopamine drip. Mm-hmm. So I was in the United States before I, let's face it, fled. I was an activist. I marched, I wrote letters, I participated in meetings, and we weren't doing anything grand. Landon is a far better, my partner is a far better activist than I am, but what Landon did was he would cook. He would say to a bunch of people, hey, I'm going to be somewhere protesting something, demonstrating something, saying, look at this group of marginalized people. They deserve a meal. They should all get together and meet each other and say hi to one another, and I'll feed you. That's what Landon did again and again and again. And he raised up huge communities of hundreds of people on the back of just going out and cooking a meal or serving some people some coffee. He got a bunch of anti-maskers in the United States. There was this coffee shop that was run by some far-right trash cans during COVID, who, very wealthy family, had opened this coffee shop specifically so that their children could get some experience of managing employees. That's not a joke. That's why they did it.
The most expensive copy of The Sims ever produced.
It really kind of, yeah. But I mean, that's what wealthy people, apparently that's what wealthy people do. But they put up a sign on the door that said no masks allowed. And this was like, we were still losing 1,000 people a day to COVID at the point this happened. I don't know if we're losing any less than that now. There's no numbers from the CDC. But I digress. But what Landon did was he said, I am going to go and serve coffee on the public walkway in front of this place. He showed up down there, a couple of carafes of coffee in front of this coffee shop. and started just handing out free cups of coffee with a tip jar for the United Way. And people stopped going into this coffee shop and stood right there with him and talked to him, talked about what he was doing. We had one or two people come by and like take a cup of coffee and pour it out in the gutter or something like that. But for the most part, people were pretty excited about the simple idea of getting some free coffee and pissing in this group of anti-masker Cheerios. He did it 3 weeks in a row. Just go out there on the same day, every day, same day, free coffee. At the end of that month, the landlord for the building was set to renew this coffee shop's lease, and he told them to get out because they kept sending the reporters around to ask why he had these anti-maskers in his building. He threw them out. With free coffee, Landon managed to get these people out of, closed this business that was literally contributing to people's deaths. Like, it was literally spreading COVID on purpose.
Might as well just cough in the coffee at that point.
Yeah, exactly. The thing of it is, that's what activism looks like in my mind.
It is risky, it is scary, and it does need you to actually do things on your own time and sometimes on your own money as well.
On your own dime.
Yeah, on your own dime, that's the saying.
Mm-hmm. Your own time and your own dime. But it did provoke a change, and it was a genuine change that it was satisfying, and no one can ever take that away from Landon. That's what actual activism looks like. These things where you get someone online saying, please spread awareness of these children being bombed, and oh, here's the donation link. Please stop doing that, internet.
First of all, some of these don't say how much they take for themselves from those donations.
Truly not.
Because they're like, it's my job.
And reputable charities and organizations aren't organized. They're doing this stuff on Twitter.
The good ones.
Yeah.
Because I think the Women's Cancer Foundation or something like that.
The Susan G. Komen Foundation.
Yeah, she gets paid like $500,000.
Yep, they exist exclusively to raise awareness of breast cancer. And I had one of those little ribbons on the back of my car. I admit this.
We all make mistakes.
We all make mistakes. But they do nothing. They're not promoting healing.
Actually,
in any
they're
way.
doing the opposite. If you've heard, they sue others who are doing the same thing as them, but
yet they use U.S. trademark law to sue other charities who might actually be contributing money if they use anything that looks remotely like that frickin' ribbon.
So just think about this. This is reverse activism, basically.
Yeah, this is anti-activism.
You're preventing people from doing something. And I think that's very similar to what happens if you're stuck in a loop of sharing posts about different issues each day, maybe each hour of the day. Because what we have figured out through the term called the bullshit hose is that it is debilitating to see so much news. It doesn't matter if it's good or bad, just so much input will tire you out. And I'm not just saying, for a day or for a week. Short-form videos are actually now being shown to have detrimental effects on the brain physically. Not like, psychologically, but physically.
It is damaging to have that much input continuously. The fact that we as a society have had every part of our lives tied to these little doom boxes. And for those of you who can't see this because we haven't set up our videos yet, I'm holding up my cell phone. To prevent yourself from falling into the kind of despair that comes with being constantly tied to the propaganda piece of choice of your government and of people who would use propaganda against humanity at large, it's a conscious choice to control that, and one that you have to make every single day because, oh my God, is it addictive?
It is possibly more addictive than anything else because you can consume almost unlimited amounts of it.
Yep. Heroin, I can only do so much heroin before I die.
Also,
Instagram, I can be on there for 12 hours.
heroin costs money. Instagram is free, in the monetary sense.
What was that thing you said to me earlier? If you're
not paying for a product,
then you are the product. Yes,
you are part of the product. Yes, your attention is what keeps Instagram alive. If you didn't use Instagram, well, sorry.
It would cease to exist.
The ads on there would cost less until people eventually don't want to advertise on there, and then Instagram becomes a failing business and they shut down.
Oh, for the day that happens. And thing that's truly, I'm starting a business. I'm in Lithuania. The only way to advertise here is on Facebook. I don't know what to do with that because Facebook in the United States really did become the hose down which the shit flowed during the last couple of election cycles. So if I want to be an activist, in your mind, I have what I see as activism, which is what Landon does. He builds communities. I have this idea of venture altruism, where I go to people and I say, what can you do? Can I support you in doing it? I want to see what ideas you have. Can I support you in doing that? And then their ideas are the things that create the positive outcomes, because most people have things they want to accomplish.
They do.
And most of those things are not world domination and the enslavement of mankind, unless you're Curtis Yarvin or Elon Musk.
And one thing you mentioned that's very important is the banding together of people with similar values and goals.
Yeah.
And of course, with that comes the concentration of the mission. It's not something incredibly vague of sharing 10,000 posts per week or whatever, because that doesn't do anything. And of course, the more you share, the more Instagram becomes, as we said, a really hose of absolute crap that will, like we said, make you less healthy, both physically and mentally. And when you're less healthy, you're less able to be an activist, a proper one.
A proper activist is maybe a term we ought to define for the people listening. A proper activist. What is a proper activist?
Well, like we've said, or at least I've said at least 7 times, it's not something that would be easy and something that might actually change something. So not sharing posts, not possibly contributing even donations to an organization you have no idea what they're doing.
Mm-hmm. An activist, in my mind, makes goal-oriented changes.
Mm-hmm.
So
exactly.
They have goals. They identify problems and then produce goals and then pursue those goals, which is the same thing we do for health and wellness.
It is. So the main difference is how long people actually think about one specific issue and how they work on it. And like you said, actually setting goals, methods to achieve them. Because the pseudo-activism, or maybe I would call the new term 1 second activism, I click the share button, I was an activist for 1 second, and I am gone.
And done. Don't need to think about it anymore.
I changed the world.
Not until the next 60-second video rolls around about the same topic.
60 seconds.
Isn't that how long Instagram Reels are?
They might be 5-10 seconds.
Oh. My attention span has been stolen from me.
And now you can't be an activist. They got you.
Yeah, no, I can't be an activist. Not able to do, a half-hour podcast every week.
But like I said, that's exactly what I'm talking about. If they can get your attention span down, you can't go out there for 3 weeks in a row and put terrible people out of your neighborhood or out of the building.
That's true. I mean, it took a certain amount of concentration and
a
organization.
lot of concentration. The amount of people who could say that they have actively gone out on the street and been an activist for 3 weeks is staggeringly and depressingly low. Some people attend a march. Okay, they do it for a few hours a day.
Yeah.
Okay, and then maybe they do it another 2 days in the same month. But 3 weeks, that's
3 weeks. Yeah, it's true.
that has an actual effect, as we've heard right now.
Which is a weird thing to me, because persistence feels like a superpower in nearly every single thing that human beings do.
Oh, yes.
From exercise to politics to just, taking time to make small changes in your life. If you are persistently, consistently making those changes, consciously, eventually your life will look more like you intend it to.
Yes, and there's actually several, perhaps 100 books about it.
Yeah.
And I guess it's also kind of one of the themes of the workbook I'm writing.
You are writing a workbook. Yes, you are actually producing a wellness journal that we will eventually have for sale on our site, that you can use, you, the viewer, can use to help with your own wellness journeys. We're also going to have a fantastic water bottle. This is going to be a top shelf water bottle. I got to finish the designs for it, but y'all are going to love this water bottle.
I'm glad I'm not the one working on a water bottle. But it has to be either metal or glass.
Oh, solidly, this is going to be a metal one, I think. I hope. Do we know anyone who makes glass water bottles? I kind of want a glass water bottle now.
Well, my fiance has one.
Yeah. Okay. A thing for the future. Right now, if you are looking at activism and politics, what could you do to reach out to more experienced activists who are already creating positive outcomes instead of just sharing stuff on Twitter? What can you do to find those people?
You need to be concentrating on a specific issue. You can only solve one at a time, so stop looking at all the posts. Pick one, and then you can actually start to concentrate on it and search on which people are actually doing something on it already.
Because sometimes, and I hate to say this, there are a whole lot of causes out there where the smartest, most capable people are already working on it.
I mean, nothing bad about it. If you can be part of their community, then you're just as valuable as the rest of them, and they do need you, and if you can help them, they will appreciate it.
Truly. But the most important thing you can do in that direction is to listen. Listen before you start becoming the fire hose of bullshit.
Yes.
You want to listen to what people who are already involved and attempting to produce genuine change are doing. This might involve a whole lot of research, but you're not going to really be very successful at researching on Twitter.
No.
Or Instagram or Facebook, or even on YouTube. You can learn some small, simple, practical skills on YouTube if you know what to look for, but the broader collegiate understandings of what actually produces change, you're probably going to have to trot down to meet space, probably a library, and ask someone at one of your local libraries. I mean, there's libraries in every country, in almost every city. Ask someone for a book on activism, or ask them if there are any meetings happening at that library about the topic that you are interested in. I remember during the early parts of the Israel-Gaza crisis that we had meetings in every library in town, and unfortunately they were simultaneously meetings where 4 people showed up, and then 1,000 Instagram posts were shared for every 4 people who actually showed up at any given meeting and said, okay, who can we write to? Who can we talk to? How do we assemble a plan, a goal, a narrative to change what's happening? But that was a thing that was available and existed, and probably in a whole lot of places still exists.
Libraries are a wonderful spot, like we've said probably 3 times already on this podcast.
I love libraries. Libraries are great.
It's just straight facts. I'm sorry. Nothing bad to say about it.
If a society produces a library, it's probably a pretty good society.
There's definitely a lot of hope for that society.
Yeah.
And of course, activists, usually a bit low on money.
Mm-hmm. They're going to go where they don't get charged to be there. That's going to be a library.
And librarians, as their profession is, they are the distributors of knowledge for practically free.
A thing that I think a lot of people don't know about librarians, you have to have a degree to be a librarian.
You do.
You have to go to college to become a librarian. And because of the plague of Google, and keep calling it that, is the plague of Google, people are unaware that you can go to a librarian and ask them a question, and they went to school to figure out how to find information in vast repositories. I don't care how good your Google Foo is, their Google Foo is better.
Because they're not just using one source, they're going to use as many as they can, which is more than we can.
More than we can. I have asked some crazy questions of librarians and actually gotten functioning, useful answers that didn't come with 19 sponsored ads.
Librarians are actually one of the most well-equipped people to be activists in the first place. So asking them about activism...
Go ask a librarian. Perfect people to ask about that. Because they'll try to present you with information that will help you get where you're going. So it feels like that is, kind of a trite thing to end on. But before we go here, we do have our 5 things that we want to present to everybody so that they can add them to their wellness journal. You don't have to add all of these to your wellness journal. You can just pick 1, maybe 2, and try them out for a week and see if they create a measurable improvement in your life.
And exactly, measurable. To measure the improvement, you have to be tracking something.
Track something. If nothing else, track your mood. If you got a 1 to 5 mood tracker that says 1 is everything sucks and 5 is everything's great, and you can witness that fluctuation of that mood tracker, that's useful data.
It is incredibly useful data that no one can tell you besides yourself.
Yeah, it's data that you produce, and it can give you a way to look for and establish goals.
I would say use a 1 to 10 scale, and if 3 things can up your mood by +1 consistently, you can change your life.
You can change
That
your
is not a
life.
joke. That is not a joke.
Going from a 5 to a 6 on a mood meter, that is worth a lot.
It is a lot.
So, first of the things on our list here, record everything you eat for 3 days. That seems like it should be easy. You just look at what you're eating and quickly jot it down. You don't have to go into the calories or the vitamins or anything that's on the back of the package. Just write down which foods you ate for a few days.
And that already could spell something about your mood. Maybe some things your body doesn't like, and you notice that, I ate this and my mood that day or the next day was worse.
And it's possible you'll discover things you're missing from doing this. I have a friend of mine who did his food recording thing for a week, and he was a vegan. he discovered that he had had 18 grams of protein in a week.
Oh my lord.
He wasn't doing well.
Well,
He was doing better after we got him a mountain of tofu. But
that might have saved their life.
yeah, really, genuinely. But he was starting out as a vegan. He didn't really he didn't understand the consequences of not getting any protein.
Yep. Well, that's where I'll start.
Okay, number 2 on this list.
Is buy smaller plates, eat with smaller utensils or chopsticks.
The Japanese really figured this out because chopsticks force you to slow down and take small bites.
Eating with smaller plates and smaller utensils will give the effect that you slow down how fast you eat. And this has actually been, what I found out, a very huge change from the way we normally ate. A century ago, we used to have at least 40 minutes dedicated to each meal. Nowadays, it's 15.
If you're lucky.
If you're lucky and you're not eating one of those sandwiches that you're on the laptop or in your car, then it takes 5 minutes.
It's 5 minutes and you just stuff it in and run for the door.
And then you wonder why you have indigestion, why you're gaining weight, or,
Why you're hungry 10 minutes later after you ate.
And that's precisely why. Your hunger will respond 30 minutes after you've eaten enough. So if you're eating fast, you can very easily overeat. Mm-hmm. And the slower you eat, the more accurate your hunger will be.
Having been victim of the American school system where we got 20 minutes to eat.
That's criminal.
20 minutes to eat, 10 of those were standing in the line to get the food.
Boy.
So, it wasn't great. I still have a scarfing problem, which I'm working on with the help of chopsticks. So, number 3 on our list this week, figure out what YouTube channel is causing you the most stress and unsubscribe from it. For me, this was a particular politics channel where the guy used shouty thumbnails for everything and every week claimed that political victory was at hand or that the guys who were doing the worst evils were about to face justice. Neither of those things ever happened in all the months I was watching this guy's content. What is your most stressful YouTube channel?
Most stressful ones, they would either have to be the politic ones, because, let's face it, we don't need more information.
No.
We don't. And especially the ones that rile you up for a thing you're not going to do anything else about.
Does it make you want to climb the walls?
Climb the walls or just go back into bed and be miserable.
Uh-huh.
If you feel like that after watching a video, maybe don't watch those videos anymore.
It's not good for you.
No.
The 4th one here.
At number 4 is check the sound levels, light, and temperature in the room you're sleeping in. Let me say, blinds, best thing I've ever done for my bedroom.
I believe it. I had full blackout blinds in my room while I was working 3rd shift, and that did help. Also, don't work 3rd shift. Whatever you do with your life, don't work 3rd shift.
First shift, second shift, you can manage, but night shift, why? I mean, you must hate yourself. I'm
the
just
money
saying.
was really good.
Yes, the money is usually like 40 to 50%.
And I got to play a lot of Dark Souls. I got to play every Dark Souls game and had nobody bother me because I was working alone.
Not enough of a benefit, sorry.
Not enough of it. No, that's true.
But I went to a sleep study once.
Yeah.
And they measure everything they can. So that means temperature, the sound, and the light in the room where you're sleeping in. And they see how your body responds to it.
I don't know how I'm going to manage with Landon and I sleeping in the same room, because Landon is one of those people who has to have 9 blankets and a weighted blanket on top. And I am one of those people who sleeps maybe with a sheet, maybe. And in the winter in the US, it would get down to 0, that's 0 that's 0 Fahrenheit. And I would leave the window open because I like that cold.
I like that cold too. And the fresh air, the air quality too.
It's so nice. Landon, on the other hand, will in the middle of summer be under all those blankets. And I don't know, we're now sleeping in the same bed and going to have to figure something out for the winter because we have some slightly different needs on temperature. But knowing all of these different things can help you modify your sleeping space. And sleeping is probably, outside of eating and breathing, the single most important thing you do during your day.
And one of the things you don't know you're doing wrong.
Yeah, it is so hard to do it wrong.
Mouth breathing, easy as hell.
Yeah, and not know that that's happening.
And sleep. We're going to make a new episode just for sleep, I'm just saying.
Oh, I think we should absolutely do an episode on sleep. That sounds great. All right, so last on our list here is if you're having lumbar pain, which is to say, if you are sitting in an office chair most of your day, I would say half of you are probably experiencing this at some point. Try putting a rolled up towel under your lower spine. Start small, but support your back with it.
Oh yeah, this is a thing I've done myself and given to plenty of my clients. You need to start at barely half a centimeter, move up to a centimeter, and just make sure it's going and see how you're feeling right after you wake up. Because my client had difficulties getting into the gym at noon because of how bad his back felt after waking up. And after a week of that, he was not going for noon sessions anymore. No, he came out in the morning.
Brilliant.
It's worked immensely and it's so simple.
I think an episode on sleep is probably a great idea.
Yeah, just place the towel where your lower back arch should be. And it's good even if you're on your back or on your side. On your front, don't sleep on your front. I'm sorry.
Don't sleep on your front. Unless you've got a massage table with like a hole in it. So before we end here today, I want to go ahead and plug my compatriot's consulting business. You can find him online at dalife.lt or on Instagram at dalife.lt. Meanwhile, for more Healthy Hearts and Guillotines, you can head to our website, healthyheartsandguillotines.com. All those words are spelled out. You can find merch and news as well as our older episodes when we have some merch and some news. We are also available on Patreon, Healthy Hearts and Guillotines. And you can find our podcast on all the usual suspects, Apple, Spotify, YouTube. And don't forget, your health is in your hands.